Hey everyone, Matt with Triple Locked Adventures. Today I have something a little unique and a little different. Something I've been working on just kind of in testing phases and seeing if this would be applicable for our industry. So today we're going to talk about ATAK. If you're not familiar with ATAK, it was originally developed for military personnel. The acronym is the Android Tactical Assault Kit. Really, it was developed for an all-encompassing software that allowed you to look at mapping, locations. There's a lot of plugins. It's a very vast, capable kit that was used for assault teams, military personnel. It was then passed down to government agencies, so law enforcement, search and rescue teams, fire departments, stuff like that. Of course, a bunch of other agencies as well, FBI, all the agencies that you can think of all use this in some way, shape, or form, or have used it. They have released this to civilian market quite a while ago, actually. This is not new news at all, but it is something I have always kind of played with in the background, and I was wondering if there would be any use for it in the overland, off-road, maybe even hiking community. And I think there is. This video will not go specifically into how to install ATAK, how to set up servers, SSL encrypted communication, any of that stuff. I can make videos on that, and if you guys are interested in that, do me a favor, click like, click subscribe, and throw stuff in the comments. That way I know what kind of videos you guys would like to see. I'll try to put some infographics up here on the screen of demonstrations of what ATAK is. I'll put a bunch of links in the description below as well of where you can download it if you're interested in doing that. Maybe a few channels that I've referenced in the past to kind of get myself into this realm. So ATAK on the civilian market, called ATAK Civ, is an Android team awareness kit. Cute way of no longer saying assault and everything else in it. For the civilian market, you don't get as many features, although there is a vast amount of plugins and features on the civilian market with a lot of stuff open source on GitHub. In general, though, there are everything from basic use cases like using maps and location-based GPS to encrypted text messaging. So you can actually encrypt over SSL, encrypted messaging between your team members or call it your family or your friends. You can have different setups where you guys would be able to message each other on an encrypted server. There are also capabilities on this for instance, being able to communicate off-grid. There are things called like Meshtastic system, which is a mesh Wi-Fi system. You have little powered nodes that maybe each vehicle would have on it. That would allow you to, even though you don't actually have internet, it allows it to connect from node to node on like a private network. So there are some huge capabilities on this. I've seen some testing on Meshtastic where a gentleman was doing one node to another node. Although it was in an open space on a hill, he was able to get almost 30 miles. Now in a very wooded section, he was only able to get about 1.5 miles between the nodes in a very heavy wooded section. But imagine you have a convoy of overland vehicles that all have these little mesh nodes on them. You guys would be able to actually communicate with each other, both in message and photo messages as well. And these are all encrypted. These are all an encrypted service that nobody else can see. You can also do it offline. So if you guys say don't have cell phone network, you'd be able to use that. Other things are due to the mesh network, or even if you had internet, you can see each other on the map, your exact locations of where you guys are with each other. So say somebody's like, oh, I need to go off into town to go get supplies or food or whatever, right? Maybe I'm going to get some firewood. Whatever you're doing, you'd be able to see where your team members are anywhere out on the land. So there are a lot of capabilities of this software, and I'll throw some photos up here or some videos while I'm chatting kind of what that software looks like, some of the capabilities it has, and like I said, I'll put a lot of links in the description so you guys can go out and look at this. If you've followed some of my other videos in the past, one of the videos I have, and I'll put a link in the top right of this video, of how to install third-party applications onto Garmin devices. Now you can probably already tell where I'm going with this. Specifically, the Garmin Tread Overland Edition runs on an Android operating system. You can install third-party applications in it. So, as you can imagine, I side-loaded ATAK Civilian into my Garmin Tread. I'm able to pull that up, and as long as I am tethered to internet, so obviously the Garmin does not have internet built in, but I'm able to tether that to a hotspot, whether it's your phone or say you have Starlink or something like that. You can use that Garmin device as an ATAK unit. So you'd be able to say, for instance, I have mine named as a mobile HQ. So that is like a point on the map. That vehicle is always moving. It always shows where I am within my team members. So I think there's a lot of use cases on this potentially for the Overland community. I do think this is a little bit more of a nerdy thing. So if you guys are into tactical type of things, if you're into off-grid comms, especially if you're into self-hosted things, something you guys may not know about me. I'm very I would say nerdy. I'm very into tech. And I really like self-hosting things, whether that's Docker containers, Kubernetes, my own servers. I have my own NAS and servers and, full server rack of things. That is something I'm very interested in. And if you guys are interested in that, I know this channel really isn't about that, but if you guys are interested in those type of things, I would love to hear your comments below, what you guys are into as well on that. But one of the cool notes, and the reason I bring that up is, with ATAK, you do need to have some sort of server that is the network for any of the respective devices. There's multiple ways to go about this. ATAK itself, right on the tak.gov website, which is where you'll obtain all of your ATAK zip files and APK files, all that kind of stuff, you'll be able to actually get a TAK server. I will tell you, and I've gone down this rabbit hole of installing that, it is extremely complicated. The government version of the server is extremely complicated to get up and set correctly. There are some open source stuff out there, and like I said, I'm not going to make a whole video on how to do this, but there are some open source solutions for you to self-host that server, and then you're actually in control over that server. The communications, encrypted communications on it, encrypted obviously locations and everything else would all be through your server that you're hosted, if you're capable of doing that. If you're not, there are a few solutions out there. The best one I found was called ArgusTak, and I'll put a link in the description on that. They have a free version, which is only up to 5 devices, so it's not super useful. You're very limited on what you can do. You can't do data packages or anything within like a team. But it is a free solution for up to 5 devices that you guys can sign up for. I did try it. It works amazing. It does give you an SSL encrypted network with communications as far as text messaging goes, but you don't have the capabilities of, say, rolling out a data package to anybody on that. And without going in the whole weeds on that, one of the capabilities you have in ATAK is when you actually have a team. So they would use this in military systems. So everybody that's on that team would receive a package. That package you would load, or a server, or let's say a package that would connect you to a certain network. That network, as soon as you connected to that through ATAK, that would allow, in that network, you would have data packages attached to that. So that would download all the maps, any plugins that you needed, anything you would need, all within that network instantaneously. So as soon as that person had that package that you sent them to connect to the server, you would have everything downloaded, so the whole team would all be on the same platform. And from there, there's some small things like your call sign, your team role, are you a forward observer, that type of stuff. There's a lot to it, and I don't want to go in the weeds on that. But That's one of the things that ArgusTak doesn't do unless you do their paid subscriptions, and they do get expensive quick. So if that's something you guys are interested in, I can try to make some videos on that. I will tell you, there are guides online and videos online of how to set up a TAK server and how to install ATAK already, and they're very comprehensive. But I'm more than happy to do that if you guys are interested. So I know this is kind of a short video, and this is kind of an odd one, but what do you guys think of something like this? Do you think it would be interesting or cool to be able to see each other on a software that allows you to, you could see each other on the map, locations, be able to text each other, maybe even set it up where you guys all have off-grid communications between each other that's encrypted? Do you guys think that's cool? Are you interested in that? Please put your comments below of what you thought. Like I said in the beginning, please like and subscribe. Our channel's growing like crazy, and I'm super excited about that. Really appreciate you guys. I'm blown away with where the channel has been going. One more thing I wanted to add. I keep talking about Android. ATAK is also available on Windows. It's called WinTAK. It's also available on Apple products. It's called iTAK. WinTAK is a Windows-specific package that works on a Windows device. Obviously, that would be more designed for, say, like a laptop or a desktop computer, like a command center. iTAK is available on an iPhone or any Apple device, really. You can download it right from the App Store. It is free of use. I will tell you, though, it is extremely limited on its features. Very, 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 very limited. You could do almost nothing with it. But it is interesting. You can still see each other on the map as long as you're online, you're connected to an ATAK server, and you can also do encrypted communications through it. So there is some features. There's a few plugins that work with it. I think Meshtastic works with it, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't tested that yet. I haven't set aside any funds to start playing with mesh systems. But yeah, that was another tangent, but I did want to mention that just in case you guys don't have any Android devices. I personally have all of those. I have Windows, I have Mac products, and of course I have the Garmin unit, which is Android. So I kind of have a mix of everything. If you guys found this video useful, like I said, throw some comments below. Let me know what you think of this. Is this something that you're like, nobody cares, everybody has Starlink now and nobody's ever going to use something like this? Or are you maybe a military background or interested in these type of things on the civilian market, and you're like, hey, this stuff is really interesting to me and I would love to know more about it? Please put some comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys joining me. Thanks for tuning in this week. I'll see you next time.